again, to the officers, given the remit of the local government New Zealand, this appears to me to be a central government issue, not a local government issue. Just some advice on that, please. And I know we've had this debate before, and it seems to be, look, deja vu all over again with this. Seems to be like Groundhog Day, because we've had this argument, we've had reports.
So currently it is a local government issue. The request of local government New Zealand is that it becomes a central government issue, and central government hasn't made that decision yet. D, I misquoted the clause because it's changed. D is a request that that we get an update on that decision, whether it's going to be made or not. But currently it is your responsibility.
Okay. Councillor Lee?
Just a question, and I don't need the answer straight away, but it would be interesting to know who supplies fluoride, bulk fluoride, and how much it costs.
That's Exxon, and it's 200,000.
So my
Exxon.
Apologies. My recommendation is that we get a full information report from Watercare around this particular issue, and let's get the facts.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Titchener. Much appreciated for coming in. Thank you.
So can we add that to the motion then? That I mean, does that get wrapped into the C, Mr. Kimpton?
Yeah, I think, Elaine, that information report that you've inserted into C is its own. Is that an E in regards to Watercare coming back on the 0.7 issue?
Yeah, I would recommend that you separate the two out, because one, and see that makes them both a requirement and they can be independent of each other. So I'd make a request for a full information report on fluoride treatment as currently practiced by Watercare as an item in its own right.
We'll put that as an E, okay?
Yep.
So on the, can I?
Sorry, Councillor Darby.
Sorry, Chair. So just on the C, the mover and seconder have got at the moment, including costs of any consultation. It's only about an information report in due course on the costs of any consultation. It actually doesn't invite any information about the costs and benefits of the fluoridation as proposed. Is it your intention to actually seek information on more than just
Plenty of information.
on consultation? Is the other mover and seconder interested in the costs and benefits?
No, we've had so much information,
Okay,
Mr. Chair, over the years.
You had a question?
I did have a question. I just wondered, what I heard Mr. and Mrs. Northey saying was they gave us a presentation for the fluoridation of the Onehunga water supply, not on it. It wasn't neutral, and I think given that the second one was against, I think we need to be clearly state, and if I'm seeing Robin nodding there, I think it meant to be very clear why they were here. They want fluoridation in the Onehunga water supply. So is that okay with the mover that we change it for the fluoridation?
No,
Councillor Crum?
Yes, that's fine with me.
Thank you.
Well, they would, sorry, Mr. Chair.
No,
the B is not clear either.
Stop, Councillor Darby. Can you just tell me where that change was going to occur?
It's just an A, after Robin Northey, it was on the fluoridation, and I was just...
Four.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear their position.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Councillor Darby, do you have a point you wish to...
Mr. Titchener came here to speak about two items, the non-fluoridation of the water supply and reducing the concentration levels in Auckland's water supply
Mr. Chairman,
to
point of order,
0.7.
Mr. Chairman. Councillor Crum and I moved and seconded this,
No,
and I feel like this is just
come on, you're being...
dodging around with our motion to get it more to how Councillor Darby wants it, rather than just, you know, this is, we've put this in and seconded it, and by stealth he's changing it, but it's not his motion.
Well, can we change it? Can we, to get some kind of
I don't think the word stealth, when somebody speaks publicly is quite appropriate.
How about I just speak to it
wasn't
till we
Against the
carry on?
fluoridation-
Point of order for
no, no,
clarification.
order. I'm
Point of
speaking.
order for clarification.
Just hold it.
Can I speak to
No.
the motion
Can I
for
just,
which?
no, I just want to, I'm chairing this meeting, please. So, just wait. Can we say that against the fluoridation, and B, against the fluoridation of Onehunga's water supply and the points raised in the presentation attached to the minutes? Does that clarify that?
Well, then we would do it in A as well, wouldn't we?
We'll do that in A as well, because
Oh, well, we'll
the
do that
Northeast
for
had
A
a
as
presentation
well.
as well.
Okay, we'll do that for A as
Be
well.
fair here.
Happy with that? So
Not sure about happy, but let's accept and move on.
It's been moved and seconded now. Are there any speakers to it?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
but surprisingly
Crump.
there are.
I don't have a major, this is just in relation to receiving the submissions and requesting further information. So let's not have a major debate on
No,
fluoridation,
I'll
not
be brief,
fluoridation.
Mr
All right?
Chair.
Thank you.
So in relation to point C, I don't think it's accurate from a previous speaker to say that Onehunga's public know everything about the issue. That close vote by committee, which was just lost by one after a consultation or referendum that had a 34% turnout rate, was back in 2001. That's many years ago. So what I'm trying to do with C here is to acknowledge that there is in fact a case for us discovering what it would take to find out more information on the introduction of fluoridation to Onehunga's water supply. In D, Dean's already mentioned it, but we supported the remit at a local government conference last year. So we were signatories, if you will, to asking that this issue be squarely taken over by central government. I've talked to Local Government New Zealand in the last 24 hours and they assure me that it is active. This issue is active with the Associate Minister of Health, Peter Dunn, and they are hopeful, is the term used, hopeful for progress on this matter. It's a New Zealand public health issue. So Auckland's public health issues are no different to Greymouth's, Christchurch's, Dunedin's, Hamilton's, and I say Hamilton with a smile, knowing what they've gone through in terms of the fluoridation debate, on again, off again, on again. And we need to, I think, squarely pull in behind D and remind the government of what actually I wasn't at the Local Government New Zealand conference but in 2014, but for those who were, it must have been a very strong vote. My recollection of wording is strongly in favour. All those who contributed to that particular remit. I also think that it's time, we were sent an email, Mr Kimpton reminding us of Dr Blakely's paper on our current council position. So I think what's missing here, but I really don't think we need an F, is a reminder to ourselves on our current council position in regards to fluoridation and some of the information that Dr Blakely has furnished us with. Maybe that can come back at a future committee in conjunction with E when we hear back from Watercare. I know that we've been sent the email, but I doubt that anyone read that in the last 12 hours or so. So I would like to request that the committee support A through E.
Thank you. Councillor Lee.
Mr Chairman, I wish to record my vote against D, and I oppose this for two reasons. First of all, if the Onehunga Borough Council and the old legacy boroughs could make decisions, had the gumption to make a decision for or against fluoridation on the basis of their community wishes, I can't see any reason why the super city should pass the buck to central government on these sorts of decisions. All sorts of powers have been abrogated to the central government, and I believe that we should and are competent to make these sorts of decisions, just as the old boroughs were able to. The other reason why I oppose this is that it takes away community choice. Everything goes to a centralised authority which imposes its will on the communities across the country. So no, I'm quite happy with the resolutions, but I reject this option or this recommendation, which really means take the responsibility away from us. We're not big enough. Well, that's wrong.
Thank you. Right, I'll take the vote. Sorry, councillor Dunn.
Thank you, Chair. So, like the earlier speaker, Councillor Lee, I have great concern about D. But I want to go back to some of the information that we've been presented with here today. We were told the referendum was pretty close. Then the next speaker says, no, it was 66%, big difference. Councillor Crum says that it was only a 34% turnout. I'd just like to remind us that we should not be invalidating our own positions here, and we all got about, in our vote, a 34% turnout.
Not Waitemata and golf.
So that was the vote. It was a referendum, and if there was a 34% turnout, that be the result, 66%. Just like the result of a 34% turnout across Auckland, I think it was about that, got us here. Are our positions invalid? Is the referendum invalid? No, it's not. Neither are invalid. You can't dismiss it. That was the democratic response. I've heard some suggestion from the first presenter here today that the democratic process has no place here. Now, that really does surprise me, and particularly coming from that individual who we all know well. I thought was really one who would always be standing up for the democratic process. The Ministry of Health has been pushing behind the scenes to ensure that councils some of these councils are participating far too much in this decision-making around fluoride around New Zealand, and it's rather inconvenient of them, and so they have managed to get local government New Zealand on their side to try and shift it to the government decision-making responsibility only. It is a responsibility of unitary councils, district councils, city councils all around this nation to make this call, not the government. And that's why the government is not moving on this. And if you look at the website, it is saying that it is a city unitary district council responsibility. I'm going to take the other request, and it is really disappointing that the mover and seconder don't even want to acknowledge in the B the point of the presentation made by Mr. Titchener here today in terms of the 0.7, 0.1 range. Critical issue, but don't want to even record it in that. Willing to record Mr. Northey's, and that's fine, I support that, but not prepared to record Mr. Titchener's presentation in full. And that says a lot, members. That says, I don't really want to know about it. I don't want to know about him, even though he is the one that is citing the clinical evidence here and no one else is. There has been no other clinical evidence tabled here today other than by Mr. Titchener. This is an issue that's not going to go away, Mr. Chair. It will come back again, and I'm happy to see the information report rather than a full-blown report from Watercare on this, and hopefully we can move towards being within the Ministry of Health guidelines by a 0.7 to 0.75% concentration rate in our water. I think the people of Onehunga will rise up on this at any suggestion that any representative from any of their political representatives, current or former, might be ignoring them in the decision-making on fluoridating water.
Thank you. I'm going to take the vote. I'm going to take the vote.
Question. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, and I'm...
No, Councillor Walker, you got a question?
Why don't we just take them all separately, so you can vote how you want?
Yes, question?
Sure. Just going to part C.
Questions.
And that essentially follows on from the comments that Councillor Darby was making. So this is about a report on the implications.
What's the
One
question?
of, well, if you give me a chance, I'll
All right.
ask the question, Mr. Chair.
It's gone on for an hour.
One of the implications that we've had brought to our attention is around the risks that apply to adding fluoride to the water. In particular, the risk attached to legal challenges. And it was pointed out to us that there's been a recent case in the United States involving the use of fluoride in the water and issues around
Just a
fluorosis.
point of order,
the costs
No, no,
attached to
well,
that,
relevance?
and-
I'll ask,
and
I'll
the
ask,
risks.
come to the point,
So,
can you come to the
my-
point of the question?
My question is, how
Just want to find out
how
something else.
comprehensive is any report going to be?
We haven't got across to
And that is a question to the officers, because if it's just going to be,
No, no, come on, you've
Whitewash.
asked the question, let the officer answer it, please.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
I think we're seeing the impact of tank water, Mr Chairman.
Keep them away from my water
Can
tanks, please.
you please withdraw that and apologise to the...
Sorry. I withdraw and apologise to my friend.
I didn't actually hear it.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, Mr Kemp,
On the
will
hearing
answer
as
the
well.
question.
Mr Chair, let's take C and D
No, no,
separately.
can we just have Mr Timpson's answer?
In August last year, you received a comprehensive report from the Chief Scientific Advisor
That's right.
to the Prime Minister,
That's right.
commissioned largely by Auckland Council in partnership with a range of others, that have addressed in a comprehensive fashion, I think, a number of the issues that you're talking about now.
Mr. Blackman.
So my recommendation is you go back and you read that, you understand what was covered, what was addressed. I'm not sure whether there's a lot more that we can add at this stage, so I'm not recommending any further reports. You have the essence of it. And if and so you just go back and you read that, make yourself familiar with it. I don't recommend any further debate if at this stage. If you're dissatisfied with it, then you'll bring that as a further recommendation into the policy program. But remember, there's also a decision which you made not to pursue this further in terms of that water supply strategy. So you're going to have to just think carefully about where you want your policy program focused, and then make a collective decision at this committee of the whole in that regard.
Thank you. Councillor Cooper. do you have-
Question, sorry, just in response to Councillor Darby's comments that we don't care.
No, no, have you got a question?
Well, the
Please
question
ask
is,
the question.
I understood that when we talked about adding the points raised in the presentation, that we were putting the request by Mr Titchener around changing in the level of fluoridation. Was I mistaken?
Oh, can you answer that?
So in item E, my
Just as a receipt of that's what
Oh,
he was
no, no,
asking.
can you let her
Sorry,
answer?
I'm just
so my
clarifying.
expectation of E was that we were requesting of Watercare to provide us feedback on their
Sorry, I'm
current...
talking about B.
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 C.
Just B. That's because we were just told that weren't interested in putting that in there, and I thought that was my understanding that we were going to,
It
when we
is in
put
there.
points raised in the presentation, we were already.
Okay, it is in there, it's in there. Thank
Mr
you.
Chair, I ask that we go to the vote and that we
No.
take C and D separately, and if you vote for
Yes,
C,
well,
then
well,
you're
I'll-
looking at a
I'll-
forward
no,
program. If you
Councillor
vote for
Crum,
D,
Councillor Crum, just wait, please, because Councillor Webster had a question.
Yes, thank you. This debate's gone on for an hour, which is what happens. Look, I would like to vote against C. I think that we should be careful about, asking for more reports. And if we do it for only Hunga, we'll get asked to do it for everywhere else. And can I remind councillors that actually Auckland supported at the local government conference the remit that went forward, because councils are really struggling with the pros and cons of this in light of the health issues. So I just want to remind councillors that Auckland voted for that remit as part of Local Government New Zealand. So I'd like to vote against C, thank you.
Okay, well, we're going to take the vote.
take C
We'll
and D
take-
separately.
We'll take A and B, I'll put those two, A and B. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Declare those carried. Now we go to C.
Division, please.
C.
Councillor Nye?
Yes.
Councillor Brewer?
No.
Councillor Casey?
Yes.
Councillor Cashmore?
No.
Councillor Clow,
No.
Councillor Cooper,
No.
Councillor Darby,
No.
Councillor Filipina,
For.
Deputy Mayor Hulse,
No.
Councillor Crum,
For.
Councillor Lee,
No.
Member MacDonald,
No.
Councillor Penrose,
No.
Councillor Quacks,
No.
Councillor Stewart,
No.
Councillor Sir John Walker, Councillor Walker,
No.
Councillor Watson,
No.
Councillor Webster,
No.
Member Wilcox.
No. Part C is lost. So now we go to D. I'll put D. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against?
No. No.
I hear that carried on the voices.
Recorded.
So we don't want to request an update.
So if you want to vote against, recorded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Councillors Darby, Wayne Walker, John Watson, Casey. Yeah. And then we go to E. This is requesting that the staff provide information report on fluoride treatment as currently practiced by Watercare. I'll put that. Those in favour? Aye. Against? Declare that carried. Thank you. So now we go to item 6.